A few weekends ago, I was scrolling on my phone. Then I saw a YouTube video about the Light Phone 3. It looked interesting, a minimalist phone without distractions. I thought it would be cool if I got one, maybe $200 or $300. I opened the website to get more details. It's a small, repairable device with an OLED screen. Then I got to the price. $800 after pre-orders. That's $800 for a phone that is on purposely worse than what you have. A few hours later, an idea popped into my head. Why don't I make my own? It's a dumb phone after all. That's when this project was born. The goal? To make my own e-ink light phone for under $400. All it needs to do is send SMS messages, make phone calls, play MP3 files, and take basic pictures. 4 apps. Can't be that hard. That night I started thinking about the brain of the phone. What would run the code? At first I was thinking of using a microcontroller like the Raspberry Pi Pico, but it would be hard for it to run all of the processing. The next idea I had was to use the Raspberry Pi Zero, a mini version of the popular single-board computer. I ended up using a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W because it's the same size as the normal Raspberry Pi Zero, but 4 times as fast. Because I had a Raspberry Pi Zero, I started looking for cell modems. It needs to be able to do data as well as SMS and calls, which is not super common amongst project modems. I picked the Waveshare SIM7600AH because it has GPS and can be connected to the Raspberry Pi by the GPIO pins, so I thought I didn't need to use any other cables. Once I got the modem is where all the problems started. Doing internet over GPIO ended up not working at all. Out of frustration, I just switched to using the USB cable instead of GPIO. In order to make the size smaller and not have a huge cable, I found the USB data pads on the bottom of both the Raspberry Pi and the modem. And then I soldered wires in between the data pads to bypass the big USB cable. That same night, as I was trying to figure out why the SIM card was not working, when I unplugged the antenna from the PCB, the whole connector pulled off of the board, further complicating things. To fix this, I ended up soldering the coax to the PCB and using zip ties as strain relief. I know that the integrity of coax is more important at higher frequencies, such as cellular, but it seems to be working fine for now. The last modem-related issue had to do with my SIM card. I was using my visible SIM card for my phone, but according to the internet, Verizon is a pain and they won't let you use their SIM cards outside of select phones. My solution was to buy a cheap 1GB plan and SIM card from Tello for around $6. Thank you to Jeff Gerling for helping me figure that out. After I had the correct SIM card, setting up the modem was not that hard. I edited some network manager config files so it would only use the modem for internet if there was no Wi-Fi. I also set up Tailscale, a free mesh VPN system so that no matter what network the Pi is on, it will connect to the VPN and I can access it from any device. The next part I decided to order was a 4.2-inch e-ink screen from Waveshare. In hindsight, 4.2 inches is a bit big for the project, but I couldn't find anything bigger than 2 inches that was still smaller than 4. I started by downloading the Python demo code and running it. Then I started editing it so I could copy the Light Phone home screen. After a few days, I had a working home screen that lets you move the cursor and open different apps. The different apps run different functions in Python. For the next few days, I was working on the message database, how it will store every message. I decided to just use a JSON file for now because it's simple and it won't be too hard to switch to another type of database if I need to. Not much time later, I had the first message view working, where you can see all the people who have texted you, the time they texted, and the last message they sent. Right now they appear in the order they are in the JSON file, but sorting by most recent is on my to-do list. It also will scroll down if you go past the last item. If you click enter while a conversation is selected, it will load it. It shows the messages from the other person on the left and your messages on the right. I made a function that can write text to the screen and put it on a new line if it's too long, but the code that runs it and draws it to the screen is not working with it right now. That's why everything right now is 1 line long. The multi-line text should be working in the next video. It will also receive texts and send texts from this screen. You may be wondering why everything is controlled by input statements right now. I'm trying to find some sort of small keyboard that I can wire up. Right now I'm thinking about getting a BlackBerry keyboard and using some open source code to get that working. The next step after the message app is done is to get the phone app working and start 3D modeling a case to print. There's a lot more stuff to learn and do. Thank you for watching my first video. I would also like to thank Flamethrower for giving me the idea of making this video about my project. Thank you for watching.